Disaster. It can strike at any time, anywhere. It can take on many forms as an act of nature or an act of terrorism.
Every year, millions of people worldwide face disaster and its terrifying consequences. Too often, disaster strikes in remote areas of the planet where global assistance is desperately needed.
Assisting the victims of natural and man-made calamities reflects the humanitarian concern of the American people.
For more than a decade, the Fairfax County Urban Search and Rescue Team has traveled nationally and internationally to answer calls for specialized rescue operations.
Today we will learn about the mission of our Urban Search and Rescue Team and take you to their new training facility.
All this and more on this edition of Fire and Rescue Digest.
The Urban Search and Rescue Team, which also goes by the name of Virginia Task Force 1, has searched for survivors and stabilized ruined structures after the bombings of the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City and the Pentagon, as well as earthquake operations at international sites such as Armenia, Turkey, and Taiwan.
We were deployed to perform search and rescue operations after the tsunami that devastated a portion of Japan. Most recently, our urban search and rescue specialists responded to New York and New Jersey in response to the flooding and damage caused by Superstorm Sandy.
The special skills needed to make rescues of this nature require intense training. Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department has recently opened an urban search and rescue training site specifically to meet that need.
A grand opening was conducted in VATF-1's new disaster training center on Furnace Road in Lorton, Virginia. Task force members were on hand conducting various demonstrations using a wide array of rescue tools on display. The 25-acre training site is now VATF-1's primary training area and previously was part of the old Lorton Youth Correctional Facility.
Now, thanks to the federal government and industry leaders, task force members have a state-of-the-art training structure in which to hone their skills. The new multi-use training facility was built at no cost to the citizens of Fairfax County.
It became necessary for us to really be able to have a permanent home and be able to develop and build the props that we needed to continue to be the best in the search and rescue industry and to keep our people and their skills up so that when deployed they're ready to work. This site became available to us permanently back last June. And since that time period we've been working to get this place up and running to the state you see it in today. We have multiple training piles here. We have high-angle rescue opportunities here. We have tunneling systems here. We have directional fields for the K-9. We have parking and most recently added classrooms.
Ordinarily, a fixed layout training building becomes familiar to rescuers, reducing the impact of training. Inside this facility are individual rooms or cells in which floors can be sloped and wall panels knocked out in a variety of configurations to simulate different types of building collapses.
Having the ability to have this training site allows us to be able to build the rubble piles and the training site to resemble the same exact environment that the team will see when they go overseas, so we can replicate collapsed structures of reinforced concrete, unreinforced concrete, heavy timber. We can recreate all those scenarios here so that the task force members keep their skills up and it's not something new to them when they end up in a foreign country or domestically on a disaster, that they're prepared and experienced in that type of construction they'll be working in. We have hides and voids that have been created underneath there prior to all the rubble being brought in on top so that we can actually hide victims in there and the K-9s can search for those victims. So we hide people in there. It gives the K-9 ability to work and to be able to solve the problems on how to find the victims in there. Also then gives the ability for the search teams to go in there and to work in identifying if the dogs locate somebody or think they've located someone. Then gives our search guys the ability to get in there with some of the listening and camera devices to try and locate them prior to bringing our rescue team in to try and pull them out. Gives them the ability to go in and treat those victims in there, get the medical teams in there and to treat people who could be trapped for days on end and need medical treatment prior to being able to extricate them. So it has plexiglass sidings on some of the areas where we can view the team at work They can tunnel in from the top of the building, from the roof, or from the side through concrete, heavy concrete. There are also the ability to slide pieces of metal in, so as the team tunnels through, if they come across file cabinets, couches, drawers, washing machines, typical household items or office items that we get from the county landfill and we fill those tubes up with, the team then has to work through that problem of how to get that stuff out of there in a very confined space.
Established in 1986 as a domestic and international disaster response resource, sponsored by the Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department, Virginia Task Force 1 is rostered by approximately 200 specially trained career and volunteer fire and rescue personnel, with expertise in the rescue of victims from collapsed structures following a natural or man-made catastrophic event.
Currently on this team we have firefighters and paramedics from the county, which encompasses our rescue specialists, our search specialists. We have civilian physicians that are on the team, as well as physician's assistants. We have a K-9 team that's made up of civilian and uniformed dog handlers. We have heavy riggers that are obviously with this type of equipment that you're using and the type of concrete. You have to have the ability to pick that concrete up, which means you have to know the limitations of the equipment you're using and how to actually hoist that piece of concrete you're going to move. So we have heavy riggers on that. We have structural engineers that while the team's working inside a collapsed structure can evaluate it and tell you if the structure is still moving or whether it's safe to be in at all. So the many disciplines that now make up this team, it's really evolved from that small group of people that got this team up and running to now into a 210-person strong team. It has the ability to really look after themselves when they go overseas without being a burden to another country. You know, if somebody's been affected by a man-made or natural disaster and they've called for assistance, the last thing we want to do is show up and require their assistance. They're asked us to come and help. We want to be self-sufficient and be able to help them and not be a burden to them.
Virginia Task Force 1 has partnerships with the Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency for Domestic Response, and the United States Agency for International Development, Office of U.S. Foreign Disaster Assistance during international missions. As a part of the Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department, the task force maintains constant operational readiness as a local resource for residents of Fairfax County and surrounding jurisdictions.
Our facilities just recently moved. Back in June, we relocated from the Fire and Rescue Academy to where our warehouse facility was, which is in Chantilly. So basically our whole operation is now located at one place, which makes it really easy for us because everybody shows up at one place to deploy. The warehouse group is in process of getting everything up and running so that we can get out the door. And now we leave from one facility and go straight to the airport instead of having to go from the warehouse facility to the Fire Rescue Academy and then to the airport. So having everything together makes it much more manageable for us and much more efficient. The facility we have, the warehouse there, then we have a deployment center itself where the team members respond to. We have a system set up to check them in a time-efficient manner, as well as our administrative offices. So everything can be managed out of one location. We all are firefighters and paramedics from Fairfax County. When we deploy, the people that take our place in the stations while we're gone, all that money for salaries is also paid by the federal partners while we're gone. So it's no cost to the citizens of Fairfax in order to actually be able to have the team here and to be able to, say that Fairfax County is part of this elite international search and rescue team as well as domestic resource as well. The advantage we have here in Fairfax County is that we are made up of, as I've said, the firefighters and paramedics in Fairfax County. So the training and the expertise that we develop through this extra training are the same men and women that ride the fire trucks on a daily basis. So in Fairfax County, if we were to have a collapse of a structure or a water rescue or below grade rescue or above grade rescue, having these men and women that have trained in this to be able to be deployed internationally and domestically, we're able to have this elite team that can operate at home right here in Fairfax County.
The teamwork and expertise needed to make rescues in such hazardous environments takes time to develop. The specialists practice their skills daily. However, once a year, the entire task force assembles for a drill. VATF-1 is deployed in a manner in which members are not even aware that it's a drill.
Mock disaster sites are created to replicate rescue scenarios that VATF-1 is likely to encounter.
You need logistics people, you need medical people, and then the equipment that goes with that here in the base. So we have boxes of tools and equipment that are just rescue equipment. There's boxes that are communications equipment that is identified for their section. Lights and generators for at nighttime so we can operate even in 24 hours when it's dark. We come with our own food, water, shelter, insulation on the tents, and heaters for colder weather. So that's just a number of the things that are in our base. to help us to keep operating.
We're used to working in a major metropolitan jurisdiction where we have hospitals in 5 minutes. We have all the equipment we ever need in the back of an ambulance. Here we're dealing with a much more austere environment. We have a lot of equipment, but that's all we have. We don't have a hospital to go to if things get bad. We are it.
The members fully realize that the most important partnerships are with their families and their co-workers. Deployed without warning, often in the dark of night, the members need to be ensured that they and their family can accept the restrictions of a 14-day mission, often without communications home. The members also realize the importance of their co-workers, who will be required to work extra shifts while the task force is away. The task force could not be successful without this strong support and assistance.
We have what's called a family support team, which is made up of the family members of the task force. So in the event the task force is gone and you need help with your lawn being mowed, or you need help with the snow being shoveled, or getting kids to school or to doctor's appointments, within that family support team they have the ability to reach out and assist the members that are gone and make sure that they're able to continue to operate at home while their family member is gone. We are deployable for up to 14 days. We've been gone for longer than that. So you can see where that need is, something that is greatly as a great assistance to those family members while they're gone, knowing that somebody's back here to help, with their family members and any needs they might have. While we're overseas or domestic, we also do daily teleconferences back with the fire chief and senior staff. That information is also relayed back and has the ability for the families to have a teleconference and get updates from the family on a 24-hour basis.
We realize that whenever we deploy, wherever we go, we wear Fairfax County on our back. All of our actions reflect directly on the County of Fairfax and the citizens we serve here. With each mission we accomplish, the Fairfax County Urban Search and Rescue Team returns to our community with a greater knowledge of how to provide care to those in need and a greater sense of the fortune of our community. This is my last episode of Fire and Rescue Digest. I'm retiring at the end of 2012. I'd like to thank the citizens of Fairfax County for affording me a career that I've enjoyed. And I want to thank you for allowing me into your homes, either by television or on the street. Practice safety, and goodbye.
That's all for today's show.
We hope you've enjoyed this look at our Urban Search and Rescue Team.
If there are any topics you'd like to see covered, please contact Public Affairs and Life Safety Education staff at 703-246-3801 or visit the website listed below.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.